Guru Nanak Dev Ji's teachings, the three pillars of Sikhi, Kirit Karo, earn an honest and diligent living. Vand Shakko, share your earnings with those who are less fortunate. Naam Jappo, meditate to control evil. All of these seem to be lost on Khalistan terror supporters and enablers. On the 554th Prakash Parv of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, India's ambassador to the United States, Taranjeet Singh Sandhu, was heckled inside a Gurdwara in New York. We'll get you details. Is this what Khalistan stands for? Is this what Khalistan is all about? Insulting the teachings of the holy Sikh gurus. I'm Gaurav Sawant. We get you the latest, but first, as always, the headlines. Rescue operations still underway in Uttarkashi. The ogre machine is removed. The process of manual drilling has finally begun to save the 41 trapped workers. Election Commission orders Telangana government to stop the Raitu Bandhu disbursement till elections are over. BRS says Congress is scared and is trying to stop a people-friendly scheme. Battle for Telangana in top gear after K. Chandrasekhar Rao's promise IT park for Muslims. Prime Minister Narendra Modi accuses the Telangana Chief Minister of appeasement politics. Political dogfight over Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Tejas sortie. TMC MP predicts bad luck for Tejas fighters. Says Modi flew Tejas, it will crash. Slamming TMC, BJP asserts Shantanu's statement was a blow against India's armed forces. Naveen Patnaik's former private secretary and ex-bureaucrat VK Pandian joins the BJD, likely to get the number 2 position in the party. Massive crackdown on loudspeakers in religious places in Uttar Pradesh. Yogi Adityanath government has cracked the whip. Massive police action is being reported across Uttar Pradesh on loudspeakers in temples and in mosques. Police are carrying out an anti-loudspeaker drive, and this is a drive that's being carried out almost across the state. The information that we've received seems to suggest that 61,399 checks have been carried out in UP as part of this anti-loudspeaker drive, and 3,238 loudspeakers have been taken down for not following the set norms for noise pollution. But the Indian Union Muslim League has hit out at the Yogi Adityanath government. The IUML has alleged that mosques are being targeted as part of this anti-loudspeaker drive. And this is not just a day-long or a week-long drive. It's been reported now that this drive will carry on for an entire month. This is a 1-month-long initiative in Uttar Pradesh to crack down on noise pollution, and there are also set timings that are being reported. So no noise pollution from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. That's the information that's coming in, and politics has escalated on Yogi Adityanath government's decision to crack down on noise pollution. The police have been tasked to carry out a drive between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. to ensure no noise pollution early morning. The drive, of course, will continue through the month. However, there are these allegations that this is an anti-minority drive, a drive that is targeting minority community and their places of worship. Let's quickly listen into reactions that are coming in on this drive to check noise pollution in Uttar Pradesh early morning.
देखिए, जिस तरह से भारतीय जनता पार्टी तमाम राज्यों में इलेक्शन लड़ रही है, उसकी हालत पतली हो चुकी है और इसी की मद्देनजर उसको अपना वोट बैंक खोता हुआ नजर आ रहा है। अरे जब आप आए थे पहली बार तो आपने लाउड स्पीकर वाला मामला करा तो था, सबने इजाजत ली थी। इजाजत के अनुरूप चल रहे थे। फिर से वही जब्ती का मामला चल रहा है जिसमें सबसे ज्यादा मसाजिद हैं। आप ये संदेश देना चाहते हैं अपनी कम्युनिटी को, दूसरी कम्युनिटी को जो आपके वोट बैंक है, कि हम डंडा चला रहे हैं, भूले नहीं हैं, लेकिन कुछ भी कर लीजिए, आप जा रहे हैं, आपकी हुकूमत जा रही है।
उत्तर प्रदेश में योगी आदित्यनाथ जी की सरकार बनने के बाद से ही ध्वनि विस्तारक यंत्रों को हटाने को लेकर के जो कड़ा संदेश दिया था, उसमें किसी प्रकार का कोई पक्षपात नहीं किया, ना कोई मंदिर ना कोई मस्जिद, कोई भेदभाव नहीं किया। ध्वनि विस्तारक यंत्र ये नुकसान पहुंचाते हैं पर्यावरण को, और इसको जो गाइडलाइंस है ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट की, ऑनरेबल हाई कोर्ट की, उसका अनुपालन करते हुए ध्वनि विस्तारक यंत्र हटाए गए थे। और आज ये सरकार भी, लोगों का भरोसा है कि कितने भी मंदिर या मस्जिद से ध्वनि विस्तारक यंत्र हटाए गए, कहीं पर किसी प्रकार का कोई प्रतिरोध नहीं हुआ। ये योगी सरकार में लोगों का भरोसा है।
कोर्ट ने, प्रशासन ने पहले ही एक मानक तय कर रखा है कि इस वॉल्यूम से ज्यादा आप लाउड स्पीकर किसी भी धार्मिक स्थल पे नहीं बजाएंगे। अब एक नया शिगुफा है कि पुलिस प्रशासन जाकर के मस्जिदों से, मंदिरों से, जो भी धर्म स्थल हैं वहां से जाकर के माइक उतारेगा। ऐसा लगता है कि माइक लगने के वजह से ही उत्तर प्रदेश में क्राइम बढ़ रहा है, महिलाओं के खिलाफ हिंसा बढ़ रही है। तो ये डाइवर्ट करने की कोशिश है, और ऐसा बताया जा रहा है कि इनकी कुर्सी हिल रही है, उसको मैनेज करने के लिए ये सब किया जा रहा है।
और रहा सवाल, देखिए, मंदिर मस्जिदों से लाउड स्पीकर हटाने का, बहुत से ऐसे मस्जिदों में, बहुत से ऐसे मंदिरों में जिसका डेसिमल पावर बिल्कुल एकदम नियम कानून के तहत था, उसके बावजूद भी इन लोग ने वहां पे मस्जिदों में जाकर के और मुस्लिम बस्ती में जाकर के खौफ का माहौल पैदा करने के लिए इन्होंने वहां पे जबरदस्ती लाउड स्पीकर उतारने का काम किया बिना उनको नोटिस दिए। तो मैं समझता हूं कि कहीं ना कहीं से ये सरकार की मंशा पे ये संदेह पैदा करता है कि ये एक वर्ग, एक जाति के खिलाफ जो है ये पूरी मजबूती के साथ काम कर रहे हैं।
More breaking news coming in. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's big statement on the occasion of Koti Deepotsavam in Hyderabad. Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke of the Maryada Purushottam Shri Ram temple at Ayodhya. The Prime Minister also paid a visit to the Amirpet Gurudwara Sahib in Hyderabad to mark the Prakash Parv of Guru Nanak Dev. The Prime Minister extended greetings to people, acknowledging the significance of the teachings of Guru Nanak Dev. Diyas were illuminated and massive fireworks, and we'll show you images of those massive fireworks that were seen on Dev Deepavali in Varanasi. So it's a day where festivals are being marked almost across the country. We'll also get you images of beautiful images of fireworks in Varanasi. But let's also listen in to Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
आने वाली सदियों का भविष्य लिखने जा रहे हैं, तब हमें भारत के आत्मविश्वास को फिर नई बुलंदी लेनी है। इसलिए हमारी सरकार विकास भी और विरासत भी इस प्रेरणा के साथ काम कर रही है। आज देश अपने पावन धामों, अपने संतों, ऋषियों, तपस्वियों को सम्मान दे रहा है। केदार धाम हो, काशी विश्वनाथ हो, उज्जैन महाकाल हो, हर धाम के विकास पर बल दिया जा रहा है। और अब तो बस कुछ ही दिनों का इंतजार बाकी है। अयोध्या नगरी में भगवान राम का भव्य मंदिर बस पूरा ही होने वाला है।
Prime Minister's first reaction, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's first reaction on the workers trapped inside the Silkyara tunnel. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has assured the nation that the trapped workers will return home safe. The Prime Minister said our prayers for those trapped in the tunnel. He insisted that the government is doing everything possible to rescue the workers. He did say that it's a very challenging task and the nature is challenging us. The Prime Minister said this while attending the Koti Deepotsavam in Hyderabad. More breaking news coming in. Let's listen into the Prime Minister. I'll get you more on the story.
देवी देवताओं से प्रार्थना कर रहे हैं, मानवता के कल्याण की बात करते हैं, तो हमें अपनी प्रार्थना में उन श्रमिक भाइयों को भी स्थान देना है जो बीते करीब 2 सप्ताह से उत्तराखंड की एक टनल में फंसे हुए हैं। सरकार और तमाम एजेंसियां मिलकर उन्हें संकट से बाहर निकालने में कोई कोर कसर बाकी नहीं छोड़ रही है, लेकिन इस राहत और बचाव अभियान को हमें बहुत सतर्कता से ही पूरा करना है। इस अभियान में प्रकृति हमें लगातार चुनौतियां दे रही है, लेकिन हम डटे हुए हैं, 24 घंटे प्रयास कर रहे हैं। हमें प्रार्थना करनी है उन श्रमिकों के सकुशल निकलने के लिए और जल्द से जल्द निकलने के लिए। हमें हिम्मत देनी है, हौसला देना है उन श्रमिकों के परिवार को कि पूरा देश आपके साथ है। देव दीपावली का हरदीप, कोटि दीपोत्सव का हरदीप उस टनल में फंसे श्रमिकों के जीवन में जल्द से जल्द प्रकाश लाए, हम सभी की यही प्रार्थना है।
And let's now talk about our top story. India's ambassador to the United States, Taranjit Singh Sandhu, was heckled by Khalistan supporters inside a Gurudwara in New York on Guru Nanak Dev's 554th Prakash Parv. He participated in the Sikh Sangat at the Gurudwara Sahib. So Afghan Sikhs were also there, but the Khalistan backers heckled the ambassador on the killing of India's most wanted Hardeep Singh Nijjar and in Canada, and the alleged plot to target Gurpatwant Singh Pannun. We get you more in this report. Was at the Hicksville Gurudwara in Long Island, New York, offering prayers and interacting the Indian American community and Sikhs from Afghanistan in the United States. Taking to social media platform X, Ambassador Sandhu put out a message saying, privileged to join the local Sangat, including from Afghanistan, at Guru Nanak Darbar of Long Island in celebrating Guru Parab. Listened to Kirtan, spoke about Guru Nanak's everlasting message of togetherness, unity and equality, partook langar and sought blessings for all. However, the Indian ambassador's visit to the Gurudwara was marred by constant heckling by alleged Khalistan terror supporters and enablers. He was heckled by unruly elements about the killing of Khalistan terror supporter and designated terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar by unidentified people in Canada. The Khalistan terror backers did not stop here. He was also heckled about the alleged plot to kill Khalistan terror backer Gurpatwant Singh Pannun in the United States of America. The hecklers did not stop at verbal assault. At one point, the hecklers apparently came very close to the ambassador, and in one place, the ambassador has not just a frown on his face, but he's also seen on camera grimacing. What is particularly disgraceful is the fact that the Khalistan terror backers heckled the ambassador a proud Sikh himself, inside a Gurudwara, and that too on Guru Purab, going against the teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji.
ये एक गुरपतवंत सिंह पन्नू की फ्रस्ट्रेशन है। मैं बड़े यकीन से बताना चाहता हूं दुनिया भर में बसते सिखों को, ना ही कभी भारत ने ऐसी किसी के लिए असैसिनेशन की कोशिश किया और ना ही करेगा।
India has repeatedly raised the issue of Indian diplomats being targeted by pro-Khalistan supporters in the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, parts of Europe, and even in Australia.
We are very clear that it is the obligation of the country where these embassies are, where our diplomats are, to provide security. After all, we provide security for so many foreign embassies out here. Now, if they do not provide security, if they do not take this seriously, if there are incidents like what you saw, there will be reactions from India.
US, Canada, and the UK have failed to provide necessary protection either to Indian missions, diplomats, and even temples being targeted by pro-Khalistan criminals and terror enablers. And this has led to a rise in tensions with Canada and remains a thorn in the flesh in India-US strategic ties. Bureau Report, India Today. Does this indicate our diplomats are not safe even in the US now? We'd heard of Canada, we'd heard of what happened in the United Kingdom. Is there no place sacred or sacrosanct for Khalistan terror supporters? Are governments in the US and Canada actually complicit? Is this some kind of diplomatic arm twisting? Joining me on India First, Lieutenant General Kamaljeet Singh. General Singh is a former army commander and an expert on anti-Khalistan operations that India has carried out. Terry Milvsky is a very well-known author, Blood for Blood, 50 Years of Global Khalistan Project. Lali Sani is Director, Global Sikh for Humanity. Gentlemen, my apologies, a lot of breaking news happening today. My apologies for coming in late. But General Singh, I want to understand from you, any human being, let alone a Sikh, should feel free to pray inside a Gurdwara. Ambassador Sandhu was heckled inside a Gurdwara in the United States, and that too on Guru Parab, sir. What do you make of what happened in America?
Gaurav, firstly, Jai Hind and Sat Sri Akal to all the viewers. I greet all your viewers on the Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Guru Purab. See, firstly, it's an isolated heckler, one chap, Himmat Singh or somebody, supported by an odd other guy, not even dressed properly for a Gurdwara. Like Gurpatwant Singh Pannu, he is also dressed without a turban. So here these hecklers who are not following any maryada of that Gurdwara Sahib, they indulge in this isolated kind of an act. And to some extent, I must say, I compliment the congregation which got this person out, allowed and are more than anybody else, our ambassador, who showed so much of poise. He retained his control, and he was not frowning. He was disgusted. Anybody would be disgusted in such a situation. And he carried on with the entire thing. He listened to Shabad Kirtan. He gave his little advice which such people are requested. He partook the langar. He would have done seva also knowing him. So an excellent ambassador.
Okay.
And it's an isolated fringe element. So Gaurav, they are looking for oxygen of publicity.
But are these isolated incidents, I mean, considering, and do they have some kind of state support? Terry Milvsky, our diplomats, are they not even safe in countries that we consider our close strategic partners? Our missions have been targeted in the United Kingdom. Diplomats have been targeted in Canada. Now our ambassador is being heckled in the United States. What do you make of this, sir?
Well, I think it's going to be a long time before we're going to see the Western democracies start trying to police what gets said or not said inside holy places. They're not going to go into Gurdwaras and start taking down notes on who said something that somebody else might object to. That's not going to happen. But I think in this case, it's the surrounding atmosphere we've got to be concerned about. It's not enough to recognize the absurdity of accusing the ambassador of being involved somehow in plotting to kill Mr. Pannun or actually killing Mr. Nijjar on June the 18th. But we also have to recognize the toxicity and the history of this kind of rabble-rousing stuff. It's happened before, and it ended before with actual physical attacks on Indian officials overseas. In each case, there's been this similar rising level of angry rhetoric egged on by Khalistani leaders who use violent language and imagery. Back in '84, India's High Commissioner in Canada was indeed attacked in the streets of Winnipeg. Today, the High Commissioner in Britain was harassed in Scotland, I believe. It's happening again now. It's happening on Long Island. This history does teach us lessons. These attacks did happen, and look at what's happening with Pannun now, for example. He's made threats against Air India. Did he merely say, let's boycott Air India? No, we all know he did not. He said, you're risking your life if you fly on Air India. Now, that's exactly, ominously, what we heard just a couple of weeks before the Kanishka bombing of 1984, when Flight 182 was blown up with the loss of 329 lives, most of them Canadians, by the way. But we also now have this drumbeat of the glorification of martyrs who did engage it, not just in rhetoric, but actual violence. We have the glorification of the Air India bomber, the assassins of Indira Gandhi.
I want to pick up for a moment what you said about the toxicity, the toxic atmosphere being created by the Khalistan supporters. And Lali Sahni, in your appreciation, why are neither the US nor governments in Canada cracking down on these extremely toxic Khalistan supporters, even though they're involved in alleged gun running, human trafficking, drugs, and crimes that are harming people both in the US and in Canada?
Thank you, Gaurav, and allow me to first, through your prestigious channel, congratulate over 50 million followers. In fact, on behalf of over 50 million followers, people who subscribe to Nanak's ideology across the world, many congratulations. First of all, as a proud Indian, I was at the Long Island Temple just 48 hours ago. I had to come back to India because we had our celebrations too, and I just got back from one. They do not hold a brief for us. These are loud fringe elements which the so-called Western liberal democracies, they breed them. And under the bogey of free speech, they use them. Maybe, now this is my opinion, and Terry can really comment on this. Maybe now this is the Five Eyes who have been actually snooping on each other and not on the dictatorships. And maybe they want to nourish these individuals in some way to try and control the new India, the nimble and the deft foreign minister that we have, and the independent policy that we now follow, in which we do not wish to become an ally, we wish to become a strategic partner. So maybe these junkies are tools of the intelligence, because please understand, if not all, but most terrorists are a byproduct of the intelligence agencies across the world. So maybe
that's a very interesting point you raised that, and let me take that to Terry Milski once again. Terry, is that also your appreciation? Could this be pressure tactics by governments in Canada and the United States to keep India in check?
I wish they had a coherent plan, but I think you're overestimating these Western politicians, who mostly are doing what they're doing because of incompetence and ignorance. They're not thinking about what they're doing. They only know that at election time, they've got a nice little thing going. We will look the other way while the martyr floats go by with a diorama celebrating the assassination of Indira Gandhi or glorifying the Air India bombers. We'll look the other way and smile and wave and hustle for votes. And in turn, you'll say nice things about me at the Gurdwara. And if I don't, then you can take your vote somewhere else. So it's a nice little arrangement for Canadian politicians, and they like it the way it is. I don't think they're calculated a scheme where they're going to use spokesmen who pop up at random gurdwaras and say bad things about Indian officials. They don't know how to use these people. They don't speak the language. They don't know what they're saying.
But the intelligence
they only
agencies,
know
the
one
deep
thing,
state,
that they're not going to pay a price at the polls.
permanent deep state. General Singh, what's your appreciation? India's rise. Does America want to keep India in check and uses Canada initially? And then when Canada is not succeeding, the Americans pop in with Pannun when he threatens to take down Air India. It just makes America and Canada look rather silly when it comes to dealing with terrorism.
See, Gaurav, there are 2-3 aspects that you have touched. One is possibility of some of these rebel rousers getting support of intelligence agencies. That is very much on cards. Many of these people also work for US or Canadian and all these kind of agencies.
Yes.
So it's a kind of a leverage that is developed by these agencies and used at appropriate times. But I'll also caution by saying that let's not paint all the countries in one color. There are shades. So in these shades, Canada has managed to acquire a very dark hue, and Canada has to be looked at in a different perspective. There are countries which are willing to go along with us and do law enforcement.
Yes.
Let's strengthen their hands. I would tend to believe that our embassy there should now remain connected with the Gurdwara management and get the religious punishment delivered to these people. After all, Gurdwaras are very
interesting you should say that.
Where you have...
Lalisani, is that possible? I have last 30 seconds on this part of the show. Lalisani, is that possible? Or these Khalistanis have guns and weapons and that is why Gurdwaras may not want to come forward?
Gaurav, somewhere I think there is method to the madness. We're underestimating. There could be a difference between the intelligence and the way Congress or the State Department thinks.
Okay.
And believe you me, even when Nijjar thing happened, CIA visited them in Canada. Now the way Gurpatwant Singh is challenging Air India, which also flies from America, and in those planes there could be Americans too. I mean, there were 84 children. They were Canadian citizens.
Yes.
So I feel somewhere we're underestimating because they know what they're doing. It's only that, they're playing the good cop, bad cop between the United States and Canada.
We'll track the story closely. We'll track the story very, very closely. I've sadly run out of time on this part of the show and I need to take a break. But gentlemen, it'll be great to have you back in the days ahead. Coming up next is Rajdeep Sardesai with Elections Unlocked.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company.
The best view of an Indian election is always from the ground, and I am back on the campaign trail, gauging the mood of the voter this election season. Join me, Preeti Chaudhary, as I come together with the #1 election team in the country, where we'll bring to you the most in-depth ground reports, the sharpest analysis, and the most accurate numbers on exit poll day, 30th November.
We move billions of dollars into Indian companies of this favored group.
As the investigation into the cash for query storm intensifies, the CBI has initiated an inquiry on the orders of Lokpal in the case pertaining to Mahua Moitra. The TMC MP faces allegations of leaking her Lok Sabha login credentials, including a password, in return for gifts and cash. The leak was allegedly used to raise parliamentary questions against billionaire Gautam Adani. Facing fire, Mahua Moitra has repeated her claim of a political witch hunt against her by the Bharatiya Janata Party. She pointed out that Lokpal has no full-time chairperson to take the CBI decision. Welcoming the CBI inquiry, meanwhile, the Bharatiya Janata Party called the charges against TMC MP grave in nature.
us to office. The responsibility of a member of parliament is to function as the voice of the people who have elected us to office, not to function as agents of certain corporate entities. I hope that the law will take its course and truth will be out very soon.
पार्लियामेंट की कमेटी है, एथिक्स कमेटी ने भी जब सिफारिश कर दी है, सर्वप्रथम तो उनकी सदस्यता से उनको मुक्त करना चाहिए और ममता जी को आगे बढ़कर कहना चाहिए इस बात को लेकर, अगर वो संविधान में विश्वास रखती हैं तो।
এদের প্ল্যান এখন মহুয়াকেও তাড়িয়ে দেওয়া, তাতে তো পপুলার হয়ে যাবে 3 মাসের জন্য, যেটা ভেতরে বলতো সেটা বাইরে বলবে। মূর্খ না হলে কেউ এই জিনিস করে ইলেকশনের 3 মাস আগে।
After Mamata Banerjee's recent backing for Mahua Moitra, the TMC and Congress have also claimed witch hunt against the TMC MP.
Viewing the demand for additional grants.
While Mahua Moitra had claimed that she used Darshan Hiranandani's Dubai office only for secretarial work, the IT ministry logs paint another picture. These show the logins into Mahua Moitra's account from Dubai, New Jersey and Bengaluru, often within minutes. But that was when Mahua Moitra was either in Kolkata or in Delhi. Bureau Report, India Today.
Traveling from different parts.
Armed with facts,
Looking at political black.
she takes the news by its horns.
Do you think the future of these students are not hampered?
Fierce, bold, and direct, setting the tone for the biggest stories from every corner and every angle. Expect nothing but the unfiltered truth.
News first, niceties later. Watch me, Nabila Jamal, on India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.